hadrons like 10, 20, and any kind of number you will create some kind of structure, and that's a solid structure. And these are the basic Platonic solids. And as it's close to our our creation, okay, that's why it's called the Metatronic solids. Okay, as Metatron is God, so it's called the Metatronic solid. That is God solid. Okay, God created these solids, and where did it get from? It all came from this figure, the flower of life. Actually, if you see the flower of life and then see it step by step, like Vesica piscis, tripod of life, you will understand that you create the seed of life first, then you kind of invent the egg of life, and then you kind of create and then you kind of find the pattern of the fruit of life, and that fruit of life you create the Platonic solids.
So in flower of life, it seems there is some golden ratio.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about the golden ratio. Actually, the golden ratio doesn't come from the flower of life. It comes from the Vesica species, where you can see many Vesica species there. The eye-like structures in the flower of life. Okay. Actually, the golden ratio is invented from the Vesica species. You can actually describe the golden ratio or find out the golden ratio from the Fibonacci sequence. If you just divided the next number by the previous number, you can find that the more you go, the more you will get closer to the golden ratio. Actually, 1.618. Okay, like if you divide 8 by 5. And if you divide 13 by 8, it will get more close to 1.618.
And there is like 5 by 3 in this figure, like 5 flower in a particle and 3 flower in horizontal.
Yeah, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, you can. It's a difficult process. Actually, the golden ratio.
Once I did some experiment, like I drew some random polygons, but some of them, for some of them, the ratio of the edges were golden ratio, and for the rest of them there was no like contrast ratio. And I asked people to like click which one is more beautiful, and it is expected that the ones with golden ratio are supposed to be beautiful, and actually it happened that like most of the people clicked on those.
What do you call it? Golden ratio? I mean,
no, the thing is, if your phase ratio is in golden ratio, then it looks beautiful. But if it's like
so it's 1.6 or something, but why do you call it golden ratio?
I don't know the history.
Basically, it is in very different concept available. Even our hands also follow the golden ratio.
Yeah.
These ratio and
so
there are in human bodies, in nature. That's why, and it is available in many mathematics, many nature.
Okay.
So it is called.
But there's only one ratio.
Okay. Who invented that?
Or something.
I mean, I think
actually the golden ratio has the history far back.
Pretty old.
Actually, it's pretty old. It's ancient actually.
Egyptians use this ratio to build their pyramids.
Yeah, that's what I will describe later. That like who invented this law of life actually.
And one more question, like these structures, those are for organic only, or for
no
metal
any
too?
kind of structure.
No, I think crystals only.
Not
Not
all kind of crystals.
That's what it looks like, because you can't derive water or ice crystals from it, but not even all the organic molecules, but definitely lots of crystals.
Yes.
And I think that's what he's talking about, because he's mentioning solids. I assume these are crystal solids.
Yeah.
Not exactly
Actually,
all
the solids. Not
Only solids.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only solids.
Okay.
a subset of solids.
So different lattice, actually, right?
Yeah, these are all lattice.
Okay.
Okay, the history of flower of life, actually where did it come from? Okay, you all have some kind of idea about the Greek mythology, I guess?
No.
Okay, it's a huge part. I don't want to
I know about horse.
Yeah, you know about Horus. Actually, Horus is not related to
Horus is Egyptian god.
Egyptian.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
eye of Horus is supposed to be one eye was sun, the other eye
Other
is
one.
moon.
Yeah, Horus actually means God and Sun. Okay,
Yes.
it's close. God and Sun. It's close. Actually, in the Egyptian history, Horus is supposed to be the sun god. Okay,
Sky god.
sky god. Sun is in the sky. Some say that he's the sun god or sky god. You can say both actually. And from this you can create from Horus. Actually, he created earth, fire, the 4 basic elements, and those are the 4 children of Horus. Okay, and this kind of myth, it's all in over the world actually. In the Japanese myth, in the Greek myth, and if you study more myths, you learn that the formation of the Greek mythology, it's actually pretty much common to any kind of mythology. Okay, in Japanese mythology, it's still there that there was 2 gods actually, that the sky god and the earth, and then they came. No, there was actually one god, and they
There was
separated.
chaos in the first chaos, like
No, actually, what I'm talking about, that there was one god.
chaos.
Chaos. I don't remember the
Greek
name.
mythology says so.
No, I'm not talking about the Greek mythology. I'm talking about the Japanese mythology, the Japanese version. Okay. In Japanese version, there is one god, and he had he created 2 souls, I guess, or 2 gods, and that was earth and sky, and they were close first, and then the god separated them, and in that way the sky and earth was created. Okay, and from that, when they got separated, then the sky started to cry, and that in that way the rain was created, and the rain itself is some kind of god, which is called, I guess, Slukomi or something like that. Actually, it's like that, and there are another god is there that the water was created from the tears, and when God washed his face, he created another god which is called Susanu. Actually, these all names are pretty much common or pretty much similar, like in all kind of mythology. Like if you know the name Orochimaru, you know the name Orochimaru? No, it's from Japanese mythology. I'm talking about the Japanese version. Okay. Well, Orochimaru, it's like we have Satan, and the Japanese mythology has Orochimaru. Okay. There is always some kind of villain there. Okay. That in our history we call him Satan. Okay. And in the Japanese version they call him Orochimaru. Okay. Okay. Okay, I've talked about that. Okay, the last part is the tree of life. Okay. The last part is called the tree of life. Okay, the tree of life, actually it's the version which Kabbalism follows, actually. The tree of life, the final figure. It's the Kabbalism version. Actually, the tree of life, you'll see many kind of tree of life over the ancient histories, actually. And the Kabbalic version is the common one, and that's why I've put it here. The Kabbalic version of the tree of life. The tree of life depicts the whole universe, actually. All the elements and all the, virtues and your consciousness, all kind of things are here in the tree of life. Have you guys seen the movie The Fountain? The Fountain? No. Hugh Jackman and Rachel Weisz?
No.
There you can see that actually there is a vision where the Hugh Jackman is traveling, and he's present, or he's just closed into some kind of sphere, and there is a tree in the middle, and he's traveling somewhere in that sphere, and that tree is called Tree of Life. In that movie, there is some kind of information about the Tree of Life. You guys can watch that. Okay, the fountain. Maybe the director's name. He's a very popular director. I don't remember the name right now. Okay, the Tree of Life. Actually, if you look at the Tree of Life, okay, there are some pillars there. The pillar of mercy, the pillar of mildness, the pillar of severity. Okay, and there are some terms like wisdom, mercy, victory, foundation, equilibrium. All kind of virtues are there actually. Okay, and in this Tree of Life, where Metatron sits, actually, can you tell me?
Equilibrium?
No, Metatron sits right in the crown.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so the Metatron is the head, and other virtues are derived from the crown actually. The Metatron or the God is like in the.
Is it like 3 layers? Like at the upper layer?
No. This part is totally different.
Okay.
This is a different definition or different kind of perspective. I'm not describing that. Okay, what these lines mean. Okay. So the Metatron is right. The God himself sits right in the crown. Okay. Like in that way, the Tree of Life is formed actually. The Tree of Life also comes from the flower of life. Okay. And it's a pretty complex kind of process how the Kabbalism found this Tree of Life from the flower of life. Actually, there are simple kind of Tree of Life which is derived from the flower of life. Simple kind of Tree of Life, but this is some kind of complex kind of Tree of Life. And I haven't found the picture in the web, so I couldn't show you that how this picture is formed. Actually, I don't even understand it very well. The Tree of Life, how it is formed.
Can you draw a simple Tree of Life from flower of life?
No, I don't want. Okay, it's a complex process actually.
Okay.
If you want to draw the Tree of Life actually. Okay.
What are these circles? What did they mean actually? With like those are like the element of
virtues, the consciousness, the human consciousness actually, it's in the Tree of Life.
oh
The equilibrium, the foundation, the victory, okay, the glory, severity, it's all it's kind of human consciousness. And the Kabbalism is all about the human consciousness. It doesn't talk about any kind of belief system.
oh.
Okay.
Do they have any heaven or hell?
Kabbalism doesn't talk about, it's not totally a religious part of Judaism actually. Okay. Kabbalism is totally different. It talks about the soul. It talks about your serenity and all in that kind of stuff. Okay.
Is
It
this
doesn't.
way of life?
No. Kabbalism is not a way of life. It's just some kind of teaching, I guess. Okay. Like
Teaching what?
teach you values and values and what can I say? Values and virtues, I guess. That's it. Like they don't talk about facts that if you do this, you will get to heaven, or if you do that kind of things, you will get to hell. They don't talk about that.
So
They
how
just-
do they teach the lessons?
They teach how do they teach the lessons? It's like
Different virtues.
it's like that if you help someone, it's good for you, it's good for your goodwill, or it's good for you and it's good for the society and it's good for the person you are helping. Okay, that's the only kind of version. If you don't help that person, what will happen to you? You are going to hell. That Kabbalism doesn't talk about.
I think in Judaism they don't believe in hell too.
No, I think
Afterlife, they
I think
believe in
Kabbalism
afterlife.
addresses the different problem of philosophy.
Yeah.
If you compare it with Talmud, Kabbalism it addresses the problems of metaphysics, not the problems of ethics.
Okay.
Problems of metaphysics are involved about how, why are we here? How should we define our world? How should we define the fabric of reality around us? How should we define our existence? Whether there is a super existence and what is the connection between us? Whether there is a bridge between us. These are the problems of metaphysics.
Okay.
Those are addressed in Kabbalism. But I think Talmud and in other books address the problems of ethics, like what should we do, what should we don't. So these are two different subfields of philosophy.
Okay, I see.
The Kabbalism is totally different. It's totally based on the philosophic version.
It's like there is a small sect came out as Sufism in Islam, right?
Okay.
But the root of Sufism goes back to the mystic part of Islam,
Yeah.
which was in asking the questions about our existence, not about what we should do or don't. So that's the same thing in Kabbalism.
Is there any other term for Talmudic?
No.
Talmud is a huge book, and
is
the
this a book?
Talmudic science is the knowledge derived and practiced based on that series of books.
Talmudic, it's a huge
I mean,
collection of books.
Yeah, like they read like those people read it every time. And near the crying, I think the rains in the temple of temple of something in Jerusalem. So you will always see people yelling at the wall. They read Talmud.
So
That's not Kabbalism.
No, that's
so
not
Judaism, they follow Torah, right?
Torah is the main book. Torah is the main
Torah
book.
is the main book, right?
Yeah. Talmud is one level lower than Torah.
It's
They are
like
not
tafsir, those kind of thing?
not tafsir, you better say fiqh. Fiqh,
I
like
don't
the
know what's the
jurisprudence.
fiqh.
The jurisprudence. What should we do and don't. But
Oh.
Kabbalism is different.
So who wrote those books?
The whole bunch of people like us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like fiqh. Okay. Got it.
You can compare it like that.
okay. Actually, why Judaism has so many parts, like why there is Kabbalism, why there is Talmudic version. Actually, there is another kind of myth which I have told, I guess, to you before, the mathematical symbols.
Yeah, you talk about that, but many of us.
Okay, what it's related to that? Once Moses thought that he's the most wisest person in the world. Okay, like Musa alayhi salam. In our version, Musa alayhi salam used to think that he's the wisest person in the world, and then God said that you are not the wisest person in the world. Then Musa alayhi salam wanted to learn that who is the wisest person in the world then, and then the God told Musa alayhi salam to follow a certain kind of fish in the river Nile, okay, and follow that fish, and then you will find the person who is the wisest in the world. And there are some kind of stories then, and then yeah, and then Moses learned that he's not the